If you guys do recall, I was very much on the side of Lin Wood and Sidney Powell when they first came out. I think it was Thursday they had that big rally in Georgia where they said, you know what, the system here is super fucked up and we need to take a look at the entire voting system before that runoff happens in January. And I thought it was, a fairly salient point. It was something that definitely needs to be figured out and it needs to be discussed. But since then, this dumb motherfucker has just gone right off the deep end. Listen, okay, I don't know a whole lot about that QAnon stuff, okay? I see a bunch of people with, whatever it is, WW2G489867 in the fucking hashtags. I don't quite know what the fuck is going on. All I know is a pig farmer's involved and something about a plan. I think what's needed is a fight, not just following along with the current tide of things, but just mindlessly putting your faith into a plan and just watching it all play out. Well, we're in this situation if you're just going to fucking do that, okay? This isn't some fucking 4D chess play, okay? There were fucked up issues with the mail-in ballots that can easily be resolved if Brian Kemp, well, especially Brian Kemp in Georgia, actually just, instead of going on Twitter and saying, I've called for a signature audit a whole bunch of times on this date and this date, and instead of, flexing your muscle and doing something about it, you're just saying, well, I'm not the one who can call for it. That means the Secretary of State. Well, guess what? You have fucking avenues in order to make that happen. With that said, I can sympathize with the fact that the runoff in January 3rd or 6th, I don't fucking know. It could be just as fucked up. Not according to one of the senatorial candidates, because he's a fucking idiot. David Perdue, signature matching anomalies that happened in November cannot happen in January. Please tell us more, David. Who is in a hotly contested general election with a runoff challenger, John Ossoff, addressed a signature matching issue, delaying the absentee ballots in Georgia's general election last month. Can't believe that. Perdue argued the issue needed to resolve before the January 5th contest against Ossoff. That's what we're trying to figure out, he said. There are things that the state can do, and they aren't doing them, Dave. There are some legal options that we have, and we're trying to figure out the standing we may have in this, but this is a very serious issue, you don't say. Look, up until 2020, Georgia didn't have any problems like this, to paraphrase this old fucker. This is all a result of the consent to create that came out of a lawsuit. And we have just got to put a stop to this because the anomalies that happened in November, they cannot happen in January. Breitbart, you bunch of fucks. Look at the way that they framed this headline. Look at the way that I initially reported it until I read through that. Signature matching anomalies that happened in November cannot happen in January. What does that read like? That reads like somebody who believes that the system is immediately going to fix itself. Okay? That, that stuff that happened in November isn't going to happen again in January because, the system's magically going to fix itself. It's not like Brad Raffensperger's automatically just going to get a titanium spine and fucking figure out that there was a whole bunch of shit wrong with these mail-in absentee ballots, or whatever the fuck you're calling them at this point. No, there is significant problems here. We need to figure out and get to the bottom of this. And when you look at a headline like that, that just screams, trust the plan. Something stupid like that. No, he's saying that there's fucked up shit, and you know what, he should be flexing his muscle because, you know what, one of his seats, listen, if the Democrats sweep both of those elections in January, it becomes a 50-50 split, and the vice president ends up casting the deciding vote whenever something comes through the Senate. If Joe Biden's rigged in there, that'll be Kamala Harris. And if Donald Trump continues into a second term, that's going to be Mike Pence. Obviously, I think you guys know that at this point. So once again, the Democrats have to run the board, but with the fucked up system that's in place, that seems fairly fucking easy, right? But I just have one question. Do we really think that a statement like this is going to help or hurt the rising tide of socialism? Here's from that brainlet Lin Wood. I'm about done with this guy if you can't tell. With Donald Trump as president, the vice president will cast any necessary tie-breaking in the United States Senate. Well, as much as I think that Trump won the election and these lawsuits, if they aren't, what all you see on Twitter right now, you can see right there, several states knock back election-related lawsuits from Trump and his supporters. You can click here to learn more. And by clicking and learning more, I mean slobbering and brainwashing. Remember, several reliable sources have called this election in a different direction. Fuck off. We do not need to vote for Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue in a rigged runoff to control the Senate. We the people demand only lawful votes be counted. Trump won by a landslide. Okay, what are we concerned about when it comes to this election? Voting machines and absentee ballots. If you're going to go in and vote in person, guess what? I seem to remember all the margins from day of voting. They were overwhelmingly Republican turnouts everywhere. Okay? So if you're in Georgia and you want to vote for Kelly Loeffler or David Perdue for whatever fucking reason, Kelly Loeffler has at least been, throwing her support behind President Trump. She has a whole bunch of ads on Parler that I've seen. It's like Stop the Steal, whatever. She's at least doing some sort of work in order to support the re-election campaign. David Perdue's just hanging out with his useless sack of shit cousin, Sonny Perdue, who's agriculture minister, and he's just sitting around doing nothing and, in fact, undercutting the recount efforts in Georgia because that's what old bureaucrats tend to do. So you know what this whole, we'll show the Democrats, we'll give them the Senate, because fighting is hard. Yup. I look forward to seeing what's going on right now at the Trump rally. It's going on right now and it'll probably be wrapped up it'll probably still be going by the time that I wrap up recording today. So if there's anything that comes out of that, I'll be reporting on it tomorrow. But as you can see with this tweet from Lin Wood, don't vote. Because Fight Back, his organization, is got it under control. You just got to trust the plan. But what was Fight Back actually supposed to be doing right now? Well, there's another very high-profile case that Lin Wood was a part of. One that you've probably heard of. I've done one video on it because it seemed fairly cut and dry to me because you know the name Kyle Rittenhouse. Lin Wood was the lead attorney on that case and raised several $1 million for him. Now, egregiously, Kyle Rittenhouse's bail was set at, I think, $1 million or $2 million. Regardless, they had more than enough money raised for that, and they still needed benefactors in the form of Mike Lindell and Ricky Schroeder in order to put up money for bail. Why? Because he's a fucking grifter, folks. Why do you think I pointed out that he was cosplaying on stage like Donald Trump at the end of last week? A red cap, he's got the hair flowing out the back and the black overcoat with the red tie. You know what? He might be a brilliant legal mind. I haven't heard that per se, but he might be very good at the courtroom. But this just is far and away unforgivable. So Lin Wood's really taken his eye off of this entire case here because he's off trying to be... I've heard stories and I don't want to slander the guy, but... at the same time, he has delusions of grandeur when it comes to being appointed to the Supreme Court of the United States. I kid you not, but what he's doing here with Rittenhouse's life is a little bit fucking sus, if you ask me. Controversial attorney withdraws from Kyle Rittenhouse's criminal case, launches new fundraising appeal. Why? John Pierce will still represent Rittenhouse in any civil defamation lawsuits. John M. Pierce, a California lawyer who employed warlike rhetoric in his advocacy for fundraising for Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old, who wasted 3 felons, one of which was convicted of false imprisonment and battery, and the other one was a pedophile, and the other one was a felon of some kind. I don't know. They all suck at some considerable level. Who would have thought you would have been able to waste away a pedophile at an Antifa meeting? Yeah, exactly. It always happens. Filed a motion to withdraw from Rittenhouse's criminal case just hours after prosecutors alleged in court findings Thursday that Pierce's reported financial problems raised ethical concerns and a potential conflict of interest. This is what the fighting back, or we fight back, or fight with your fucking ass up in the air, whatever is Lin Wood's stupid campaign was supposed to do. It collected all of that money. $2 million, $2+ million, in fact, and like I said, had to get subsidized by Mike Lindell of MyPillow and Ricky Schroeder in order to get him actually fucking sprung from jail. And all of the money, this was the original claim, all of the money that was collected under the We Fight Back campaign for Kyle Rittenhouse, everything was supposed to be put towards the bail, and anything left over was supposed to be given to him and his mother. Guess what didn't happen? Either of those things. Yeah. Where did all the money go, Lin? So that it does not take Kyle's supporters by surprise, effective immediately, I am taking over all civil matters for Kyle, including his future defamation claims, Pierce wrote on Twitter Thursday afternoon. I will be orchestrating all fundraising for defense costs. A terrific Mark Richards, a local criminal defense attorney, will proceed in Wisconsin. Kenosha County Prosecutor Thomas Banger on Thursday morning took the highly unusual step of advocating against Pierce's request for admissions to the criminal case, a procedural measure required of out-of-state lawyers that would typically be granted without objection. But Binniger filed 6.5 pages of unsparing criticism of Pierce, citing numerous public statements by Pierce that Binniger claimed could materially prejudice the case, along with reports of a collapse of Pierce's law firm earlier this year under a cloud of debt. Okay, that's where all the money went. And several lawsuits alleging Pierce defaulted on hundreds of thousands of dollars in businesses and personal loans. Now, I know we've been talking about Pierce here for a minute, but here's what it all ties together. Pierce's personal financial difficulties raised significant ethical concerns, Binniger wrote in court filing, contending Pierce could personally benefit from his close ties to the Fighting Back Foundation, a Texas organization co-founded by Pierce and nationally known defamation lawyer Lin Wood. Fight Back has been raising money for Rittenhouse's defense until last month, when Pierce posted $2 million raised by the foundation for bail to bail the teenager out of jail. They raised a lot more than that and kept asking for a lot more than that. It is sickening to watch this case unfold at afar. Listen, Lin Wood, Sidney Powell were never officially, or at least now, aren't officially a part of the Trump legal team. What they're doing right now is acting of their own accord, trying to be little cheerleaders for all of those Dominion cases that are out there. By all means, if you can prove it, be my guest. Maybe you'll have a bright future. Who fucking knows? But wasting all of this money from the Fight Back Foundation and then having no explanation for where it went, it screams a grift, okay? There's no two ways about it. And all of this inflammatory rhetoric, like you're just being some fucking contrarian, doesn't do anybody any good. It just makes you look like an asshole. There is nothing wrong with day-in voting. Go there the same day, fill out your ballot. I don't know, like I said, I didn't really want to do any videos on Kyle Rittenhouse specifically. I've done the one when he was released from jail because it's like, yeah, this is a pretty cut and dry case of self-defense and the kid fucking tried to turn himself in, for Christ's sakes. There's nothing really to comment on here unless you're one of those leftist screeds out there that just think, here was a comment I got on one of my videos. That pace-swelling simp isn't going to be watching this far anyways. He said the only reason I defended Kyle Rittenhouse is because I want to sit at home and polish my guns. Here, I'll actually pull it up. It is mind-numbingly fucking stupid. I won't read his name because, well, it probably took him quite an effort in order to, type it all out correctly. This is in regards to Rittenhouse. He went to get into a fight and brought a gun with him in case he wanted to kill people. That is not true. You want him to go free because you like to play with your guns to feel superpower. It is next to impossible to buy guns in Alberta, and I am 6.5 feet tall. I do not need guns to fuck people up, especially Antifa members, with their weak bones and their puberty blockers. I'll be able to snap a half a dozen of them before they can call Big Bertha off the sidelines, so that's the level of discourse we get on this channel. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's quite fun sometimes. But yeah, hopefully you guys just don't mindlessly follow the plan, that you understand that there is some significantly weird shit going on right now, and the best course of action is to support the people who are actually doing something about it, like making the information known or actually have boots on the ground in order to do something about the Steele and Kyle Rittenhouse's case, to be completely honest. There are a bunch of good outlets out there that can use your support, and not some fucking grifter who thinks that a foundation for a self-defense case is a good chance to pool a bunch of money together and then just flip it to chasing the ghost of Hugo Chavez. That'll do it for this video, guys. There's a couple of other developments in the election. It'll just be a short little update video, so I just wanted to lead with this one because it's probably my most inflammatory topic of the day, at least the one that kind of grabbed me the right way. Not that right way, but I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.